It's 1963, and Ford Motor Company is getting crushed by Chrysler in the car sales war. Henry Ford II isn't happy. He wants something bold, something that'll reignite the brand's appeal. That's when Vice President Lee Iacocca pitches a radical idea: buy the struggling Ferrari brand and use its racing legacy to inject some adrenaline into Ford's image by competing at the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. Iacocca knows the post-war generation has money to spend, but they're after sleek design and raw speed, something Ford just doesn't offer. Meanwhile, Enzo Ferrari is on the brink of financial collapse. Ford's offer seems tempting until Ferrari uses it as leverage to strike a better deal with Fiat. The result? Fiat buys Ferrari for $18 million, and Enzo keeps full control of his beloved racing division, Scuderia Ferrari. Under Ford's rejected deal, Ford would have taken over 90% of Ferrari's car production, while Ferrari would retain 90% of the racing team. Not only does Ferrari walk away from the deal, he insults Ford and Henry himself, mocking the company's cars as cheap, soulless machines and claiming Henry II isn't even a real Ford. Furious and humiliated, Henry II gives a single order: beat Ferrari at Le Mans. That's the mission. To make it happen, Iacocca brings in Carroll Shelby, the American racing legend who once won Le Mans in 1959 driving an Aston Martin but had to retire due to a dangerous heart condition. Shelby knows racing, but he also knows he can't do it alone. Enter Ken Miles, a British-born mechanic and race car driver with a short fuse but unmatched instincts. Miles lives and breathes racing, believes cars should be driven exactly the way they're built. He's a family man, married to Molly with a young son. Despite his skills, Miles constantly clashes with officials who disqualify his self-built cars over nitpicky rules like not having enough trunk space. Shelby and Miles make a solid team. They've worked together before, and Shelby knows that while Miles might not play nice with PR folks, he can drive circles around most people. To take down Ferrari, they need a machine that can hit 200 miles per hour and keep that pace for 3,000 miles. Le Mans isn't just a racetrack, it's 24 hours of punishing road, where one mistake can end everything. They get 90 days. Testing begins on the Ford GT40 MKI prototype at the Los Angeles International Airport. Shelby and Miles hammer out its flaws, one by one. But when Miles critiques the new Ford Mustang in front of exec Leo Beebe, calling it a joke of a car, Beebe takes it personally. He blocks Miles from racing at Le Mans, labeling him a liability. Shelby's hands are tied, and Phil Hill and Bruce McLaren are sent to represent Ford in 1964. It's a disaster. Just as Miles predicted, none of the Ford cars even finished the race. Henry II is livid, but Shelby points out that the GT40 hit 218 miles per hour before breaking down fast enough to scare Ferrari. Shelby insists a true race car can't be built by committee. Henry agrees and gives Shelby direct authority to continue development. As they refine the GT40 Mk2, tragedy nearly strikes. Miles almost dies in a brake failure during a test. That incident leads the team to discover a loophole in the rules: they're allowed to swap out the entire brake system mid-race. In 1966, Leo Beebe is put in charge of the racing program, and he's determined to keep Miles off the team. But Shelby won't have it. When Beebe and Henry II come to inspect the team's progress, Shelby locks Beebe in an office and takes Henry for a high-speed spin in the GT40, betting everything. If Miles wins Daytona, he races at Le Mans. If not, Ford takes Shelby American. Daytona arrives. Beebe hedges his bets with a second Ford team backed by NASCAR pros Holman Moody. Their pit stops are faster, but Shelby pushes Miles to rev the GT40 to 7,000 RPM. It pays off. Miles wins. At the 1966 Le Mans, Miles hits trouble early, his door won't shut. Crew engineer Phil Remington smashes it back into place with a mallet, and Miles hits the gas. Lap by lap, he catches the Ferraris. He battles Lorenzo Bandini, Ferrari's ace driver, in their new 330 P3 prototype. When Miles' brakes begin to fade again, the team swaps them out mid-race. Legal, but controversial. Ferrari protests, but Shelby defends the move. Back on track, Miles and Bandini race neck and neck until Bandini blows his engine. Ferrari is out. With Ford now holding the top 3 spots, Beebe orders a staged photo finish. Miles is to slow down and let the other 2 Ford cars catch up. Miles is against it, but eventually agrees. On the final lap, he eases off the gas. In the end, Bruce McLaren is declared the winner because he started farther back. He technically went farther. Miles is credited with second place. Shelby is furious, believing BB robbed Miles of his win. But Miles, ever the racer, is just grateful for the shot. From the pit, Enzo Ferrari tips his hat in respect. Shelby and Miles walk off, already thinking about next year. But the next race would never come. Just 2 months later, while testing the J car at Riverside, Miles suffers another brake failure and dies in the crash. 6 months after that, Shelby visits Molly and her son Peter, handing Peter a wrench, one that Miles had once thrown at him in frustration just before winning an SCCA race at Willow Springs. Ford would go on to dominate Le Mans, winning in 1967, 1968, and 1969, making history as the only American car manufacturer to do so. Ken Miles was posthumously inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America in 2001.